Soviet Union, he'd been a pastor there for some time, and he was struggling. He was just struggling with his church, his life, and he, one early morning, went out to pray. And he was just walking around. It was dark. And he stumbled into a Soviet army camp. And what I mean by he stumbled into the Soviet army camp, he crossed into where the guards were. And the guards shone a light on him, pulled out their guns. Their guns were ready. And they looked right at him and says, "Who are you? And why are you here?" And kind of shocked the pastor. And he says, "Repeat that. Who are you and why are you here?" And then he paused and he says, "Thank you. That's helped me out a lot." He forgot who he was. As a pastor, he forgot who he was. He forgot why God put him on the earth. And when we question our identity, we question who we are, we question our place. When all of a sudden our identity gets outside of God, life doesn't make sense anymore. And he says, "Thank you very much." It focused and refocused him. So, question, who are you? Who are we? And why are we here? You know, I look at how many people are here, who we are. Malachi says, "Do not despise the day of small things." Can you imagine Jesus? I'm going to refer to this later today. Can you imagine Jesus? There he is. He said to his disciples, "I want to meet you on the mountain." And it was those 11 disciples that he gave the ministry to, that he talked about. The whole ministry and mission of the church was laid into the lap of 11 people. And it says when they gathered there, this is in Matthew 28, when they gathered there, it says that some worshiped and some doubted. Some of us can look around here, and on this morning, some of us are worshiping, and some of us are doubting. It's probably not very different. I don't think they doubted Jesus. They saw him in the flesh. I don't think their doubts were, is Jesus real? And many of us don't doubt that Jesus is real. But does he really want to work in me? Can he really work in this church with these people? How did Peter look in front of the other disciples? God still wants to work with him, huh? He wants to work with all of us. We're going to tap into that later today. The church. There was a song. The title of it is called "I Am the Church." And it was a song that I heard. Avery and Marsh are authors. They went to Bluffton College when I was attending there. I think it was a sophomore at that time. And they said, but they write songs. And it's a little song. It's called "I Am the Church." This is who we are. And he says, I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together, all who follow Jesus all around the world. Yes, we're the church together. The church is not a building, the church is not a steeple, the church is not a resting place, the church is a people. That's a thought. I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together, all who follow Jesus all around the world. Yes, we're the church together. We're many kinds of people, we're many kinds of faces, all colors at all ages too, from all times and places. Sometimes the church is marching, sometimes it's bravely burning, sometimes it's riding, sometimes hiding. There's a thought. But always, it's learning. Well, I hope so. Some things, I'm not sure. Sometimes, I'm not sure if we're always learning. That's a statement of faith. I hope we're always learning. But I do know this, that when we make a commitment with Jesus, He makes a commitment with us. And you know what? It's not our commitment that is going to bring us to the end. It's His commitment to us. And you can be confident of this very thing. He who began a good work in you, He will complete it. Amen. It's His commitment to us that's going to keep us going. It's not our commitment to Him. That's the beauty. That's what He told those disciples on the mountain. He says, and remember, I am with you always. When Jesus was with them, things happened. Church. Who we are and why are we here? Who are we and why are we here? The first time the word church is mentioned in the Bible. It's mentioned by Jesus in Matthew 16. And Jesus says, upon this rock I will build my church. So the church is not man's idea. The church is not someone's idea. The church is Jesus' idea. He says, I will build my church and the gates of hell cannot prevail against it. So let's get into small groups. So, in your opinion, what is the church? And why did Jesus establish the church? That's not how does the church look and what do people do with the church. Why did Jesus establish it and what was and is His purpose for the church? Let's just break into small groups.